Good morning, good afternoon, and or good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another special edition of the Warriors Den from home. Today we talk about the Warmongers, and speaking of heroes, we've got one to the left. It's Clarissa. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Really excited for today's show, but how are you doing today, Mike?
I am super excited. Again, it's been 1 week since the Tyrant's test has started. I've been facing against the Warmonger. It has not been going well. But today, for the first time, we'll be talking about all of the details surrounding this hero. So that means the narrative, who Astria is, what do they represent as a group, the Order of Horkos, the fashion aspect of things. So many things to talk about today. It's going to be a great show. But first and foremost, we want to talk about the things that are good for you as the viewer at home. Let's start off with Azers. How about that, Clarissa?
Yep. So, of course, we want to thank you for hanging out with us today. And with the Azerus, there's a red button on the stream. If you haven't authorized your Twitch account, all you need to do is click on it and authorize. But from time to time, there will be questions popping up based on the show, so it's important for you to pay attention for the answers. When you get those answers correct, you get credits called Azes, and you can use those Azes to redeem For Honor rewards, such as XP boosts and scavenger crates. You can redeem all of that at forhonorgame.com/redeem. And of course, we also have Twitch drops. Everybody who watches this show for at least 30 minutes will receive one scavenger crate. And for every 10 minutes, a handful of lucky viewers will receive the Honor and Gratitude Battle outfit created by our community artist, English Butter. It's important to note that the drops notification is delayed 24 hours to allow full processing for Twitch and Ubi. So if you don't get a notification today or at the end of the show, that is perfectly normal. You just need to wait until tomorrow.
Yes, stay patient, my friends. But that being said, you don't have to be too patient because we're going to get into the show right now. But first, I want to talk about the actually accessibility of the hero. So again, if you guys missed the Warriors Den last week, we had a roadmap where we kind of talked about the different elements. Reminder that next week, August 6th, is when the hero will be available for purchase. The available purchase price will be $8 or $7.99, I should say. And so from there's going to be a 2-week period of exclusivity, and then she will be available for 15,000 steel like the other heroes, so don't you worry about it. And that being said, let's get into today's show. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to start off with the narrative of this hero, the Warmonger, and then after that we're going to get into the fight demo and see her full moveset, not from an opponent's perspective, from you perspective, and then finally we'll talk about the For Honor fashion and discuss the event pass that will be live August 6th. It's a 3-week event pass with a bunch of rewards surrounding corruption and what the Warmongers bring. All of that great stuff. So we've got a hell of a show for you today. Let's get right to it, and we'll be right back with Elise and Andrew to talk about the narrative of the Warmongers. We'll be right back. Joined back now with a very special guest, Elise Trin, the game writer of For Honor, joining us live from Temple Garden, as it seems. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and Andrew cannot join us for this segment, but that's okay. Elise, how are you today?
I'm very good, thank you.
So let's get right into it. We've got narrative stuff to present. Clarissa, do you want to take it away and ask the key questions to unravel Astria and the Warmongers?
Yeah, so like we do with every hero, we always go over the hero's backstory, and we have a lovely PowerPoint for you. So first things first, the new hero is Warmonger or Astria, but let's first dive into the Warmonger class. So Elise, what can you tell us about the emergence of the Warmongers?
So the Warmongers, they are a group of warriors. They are not just like one individual. They are, as other heroes in our game, they are a whole group by themselves. They are the leaders of the what we are calling the Order of Horkos. So basically, the Order of Horkos, as many players have guessed, it's sort of a secret society in Heathport. There are many influences, like there are mostly Horcrux is a Greek god of vengeance, but there are also, like you will notice more in the game, like there are many things related to Greek mythology actually about them, and so we've been teasing like their arrival since like for quite some time ago, as we mentioned in the last Warriors Den, but now they're here, right? They took some weaponry from the Wulin when they attacked Kiang Pass in the last season of Year 3. Using that alchemy, they engineered that new power called Corruption, which is going to give them the upper hand in battle. And they've also so part of their warriors are from the Blackstones, as you used to know them in the campaign, but their ambitions are really go beyond that. Like they are not just a legion anymore; they are really a secret society that have grown followers in all factions. So that's also why they are talking in English, by the way, in the game. Like all their voiceovers, as players have noticed, like they're all speaking in English because they want to convince everyone to join their cause. So yeah, they have a very specific worldview, and they want to convince people to join them, or if not, they will kill them, basically.
That's scary.
Yeah, they're pretty scary people.
Yeah, so in the next slide, where we show you more of like what the Warmongers, see the different armors that they'll have.
Yep.
Can you tell us more about the weapon that they use? Because
right,
it's a flamberge.
Yes, we are calling it the flamberge. Yeah, I think it's a French word actually, but it's basically it's a legendary weapon among the knights that has often sort of a wavy blade that resembles a flame. So that's why it's called flamberge. So yeah, she's using that weapon. Oh yeah, I'm saying she, by the way, because yeah, it's a female-only warrior, by the way.
All right, and then the Warmongers, or at least Astrea, doesn't have a male counterpart, basically. No. Like in the Harbingers. So this is the first hero after last year that is exclusively
gender locked. Yeah,
gender locked. There you go. Thank you for the word, because I couldn't remember what the word was. So.
That's okay.
So now let's go deeper into the actual leader, or Astrea. So what can you tell us specifically about Astrea and how she's different from the other Warmongers?
So Astrea, she's basically the one who created the Order of Horcrux. Legends say that during a battle, she almost died, and she had some sort of a vision, like a sort of a divine revelation. The god Horcrux himself appeared to her and told her that she had to pick up the torch of Apollyon, to pick up things where she left them, and to go even bigger than that. So she had to recruit the former Blackstones to her cause, but even like more warriors from all factions, and create a new order. And with those new warriors, they will all together start a new era in the world of Heathmoor. So yeah, basically a very grandiose character, that goes trying to both honor the legacy of Apollyon, but also bring something even bigger on the table.
Okay, that's really cool. So I know that in the story mode, Apollyon took Lawbringer's armor and pretty much melted it into her own. So would you say that the Warmongers did something similar, or how did they come up? Because their armor set is very, very unique. I personally love it. So
yeah, I'm also a huge fan, and yeah, kudos to Andrews, who was not in the section, but yeah, he did an awesome job about those armors, because yeah, we're trying to really honor that storyline of Apollyon, how she picked up the armors of someone else and then reforged it to her needs. Most of the Warmongers go through the same ritual. It's part of their process, to abandon their former identity, to reforge things from what they used to be, and to become something new, to be reborn, basically. So that's part of their lore, yeah, to do that.
Cool. So I know that Andrew told us before that Astrea has 3 different symbols, pretty much going into what really inspired them to create the design of the Warmongers. Yeah,
so we really wanted to both honor some of the things from the Blackstones and Apollyon, but also give a new twist to them. So that's why we brainstormed a lot and picked a few symbols as an inspiration. The first one, I think, was the black swan, as you can see on the hilt of the blade of the sword. Because it's a mix, it's an elegant animal. It's very graceful, but at the same time, it's also the blackness of the thing is also hints a bit more darkness in that character for sure. It's more or less the same idea with the idea of the black rose, so the symbol in the middle here, which is actually combined with the black sun of the Blackbriar because they have some ties. But yeah, the black rose, as Andrew used to phrase it, it's I think he used to say, so it's like it's a delicate and like very pure flower, but at the same time it has venomous thorns.
Yes.
I think that's how he used to phrase it. And finally, so the last symbol is the caduceus, because there's often that confusion between the caduceus and another symbol for health, but actually the caduceus is more alchemy symbol. And in that case, we were very inspired by this idea of those intertwined serpents or snakes, and that's also what inspired the design of many blades that you will see for the Warmonger.
And when we were talking about the Warmongers a little bit last week, and maybe just as a reminder for those that are listening this week, it also comes with this whole sense of corruption and the Draconite that is now a part of Heathmoor, that is a natural source that the Warmongers from, again, this is the last symbol that you're talking about, a little bit more alchemy related. They're trying to hone in on this, and what does that mean for the Warmonger, if you can share details?
So I'm gonna keep sharing a few details, but not all of them, because as the story unfolds throughout the year, you will learn more about what the Draconite is really capable of and how the Warmongers are actually using them. But at the moment, so they, as a reminder, they used what they picked during their last battle against the Wulin in the last year. So that alchemy technology, they basically took Sunda's work. Inspired by that, they found the Draconite, which has been spreading across the world. So it was before more secret, but now it's more overt, like it's appearing in various maps. Now they're using that new resource as a source of power to engineer that corruption, that power that gives them the opportunity to corrupt other people and to eventually maybe manipulate them or at least weaken them. It's a way for them to weed out the weak, basically. So.
That's crazy, and of course, we're going to be seeing a lot more of the Warmonger right after this with Stefan and Alex to talk about the fight kit. Elise, I want to thank you for taking the time, and unfortunately, Andrew, rest in peace for this segment because of the technical difficulties. But again, thank you for elaborating on Astria, the Warmonger's corruption, all of these things to come and evolve throughout the world of Heathmoor and the continent of Heathmoor.
Yes.
But yes, let's get to the next segment. And again, thank you, Elise, and we'll be right back with Alex and Stefan to get into the fight demo for the Warmonger. Let's get it. Joined back now with our good friends Stefan Jawinski and Alex Laliberté, also known as Piqué Alex. Welcome to the show, guys. How are you today? Let's start off with Stefan.
I'm doing fantastic. I hope everyone else is too.
Yes, we're doing great. And yourself, Alex?
Super good. Thank you.
Excellent. Guys, we're going to talk about the most important thing, the fight demo of the Warmonger, because this is what the players are going to be experiencing from a molecular level, if I could say that way. So before we get into it, we got a bunch of videos and a special shout out to Max, who did 35 videos recorded for this pre-recorded segment. So a major shout out to Max, just a great work. So
you said he was playing the second controller with his feet somehow.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, it's actually insane. The guy's a magician. So if we can get some, I love you, Max, in the chat. That'd be fantastic, and it'll make his day as we start in. So again, guys, before we get into the videos, the 35 videos that Max did for us, what can you tell us about this character at a high level? Maybe a couple of words to describe it. Alex or Stefan, whichever one wants to give it a go. Just a few words on this different and menacing character.
Tyrant war, I guess.
Fantastic. That would
solve it. Savagery, maybe dominance.
Okay, I love it.
Perfect.
Okay, sweet. So that being said, the Warmonger, of course, just to give a little bit of background on this character, we spoke about the narrative just before this, but this is a knight hero, and it's obviously drawing on the fact that we have the Apollyon hero. What can you tell us about this hero and maybe some of the basic chains to start us off?
Yeah, quick backstory. I mean, you guys know the Warden. You guys know Apollyon was a Warden with ++ on top. And then basically Astria and the Warmongers are like, well, what if we twisted one more degree over off to the side? And we're super amazing on their own. So that's what's happening. And you're about to see the Knight Vanguard in action.
Fantastic. Let's take a look at the emote just to start off right now. This is a first taste of what you will experience and what you can show off to the others. But let's get into her chains, starting with the first video maybe, and tell us a little bit about her kit.
Alright, so she's a Vanguard, so it's pretty simple. We start off with light, heavy. The last heavy has hyper armor, uninterruptible stance. So, and then we can go to the next chain, which would be.
Light heavy a second ago. That was light heavy.
It's still light heavy, but yeah, but now we can see that the lights are enhanced, so they're not interrupted on block, basically. Woohoo, offense!
Yeah, exactly. So super cool. Light heavy, light heavy, and heavy are the stuff you're seeing there.
Yeah.
Peculiarities, uninterruptible stance on the finisher, as you saw, and all the lights through the chain are not stopped on block, which you'll see will be very interesting in a moment.
Indeed. So to the last chain. Oh yeah, we can see we can chain off the zone attack as well. And finally, you can chain off the sprint attack. And then beautiful execution, sharp claws, easy.
Okay, she really reaches in there. All right, that's no joke.
I love her.
She's so cool. Okay, cool. That's the basic chain. And now we're looking at a Praying Claw.
Yeah, which is basically a variable timing bash. As you can see, it's available after the light, so it's pretty important that our lights are enhanced for this reason. And you can also do it off a side dodge and front dodge.
Yep, so either light basically accesses this one, so you can see that it's really interesting. She's got a lot of intros to her chain and her pressure. You could do zone light and then access this. You could do sprint attack, light access this, heavy light access this, light access this, dodge access this. Super cool, super cool. And
even of her,
go ahead.
Even of her other special moves that we're gonna see in a second.
Exactly, and as you see in the claw, you can feint it as well. So what's this now?
So this is Beast of Prey. It's based of one of Apollyon's move from the campaign. The one from the campaign was completely unusable at like 1500 MS, I think. So what we did is
Tyrant's Test, but
yeah. But yeah, so here we can say it's accessible from a dodge. So it's basically just a side slash after a dodge that is unblockable. It's got good trajectories. It's a bit slow, but at least you can feint it. You can chain off of it. And because of the trajectories, it should be pretty decent in group fights.
Yep, it'll definitely cause pressure even when she's just near you. So that's really cool.
Alright. And then we got the front dodge heavy, which is basically a top attack, but as you can see from the blue feedback, it's undodgeable. So those pesky roller are not gonna get away from you.
Oh no! How am I gonna get away?
You can't. Stay here, or whatever she yells.
I'll just die.
Yeah.
Basically, that's a hope, yeah. But yeah, and of course it chains into your light or your heavy as others. And as you saw there, it can be feinted.
Everything can be feinted. Oh, and now we got the Impale, which is accessible after parry, kind of similar to the Lawbringer. So what's interesting with that is that it doesn't do a lot of damage unless there's a wall, in which case, boom, plus 20 bleed damage. So that deals a lot if you position properly. You can also ledge with it, obviously. And yeah, it's pretty savage.
Yep, she's got one more cool version here.
So we know it kind of sucks if with your Lawbringer you parry someone, they fall on the ground, you try to impale, nothing happens. So she has a version in that case, which will always do the wall splat version basically. So you're always gonna apply that extra bleed damage if they're out of stam or if you're in revenge.
I feel like this is a good gank opportunity.
I mean,
that's the shaman in me talking.
You gotta time it because you can't quite do it when they're on the wall in the claw. Yes, afterwards, feel free to wreck them there.
Oh, so I think we're gonna see a beautiful execution.
Oh god!
Shout out to the animation team.
Oh, right in the head.
Oh, let's go.
It replaces the spine with the sword. That's what's happening, right? It's a shish kebab.
It's like surgical, right?
Yeah, 100% shish kebab right there. Sorry, I'm hungry. Okay, so that's basic moveset, but now let's get into the feats, and this is the tier 1 feat right now that we're seeing, correct?
So this is pretty brutal. We did a lot of iteration on all of our feats. So as you can see, I don't know if you guys recognize it, but it looks like Nusha's feat 4, but it's a feat 1. But how it works actually is that you apply a coating of a poison thing on your blade.
Corruption, potentially.
Yeah.
From the Dragon Knight. Yes.
And,
on brand. Awesome.
if you manage to hit someone within the time limit, which is 15 seconds in this, you will apply corruption to them, which means that it will create an AoE around them, and for as long as one of their friends is inside this AoE, everybody will take damage.
So
However,
you can see this particular video real quick. The raider is moving away from his friend.
Yeah.
So at first they're taking damage, and now they're apart, so no longer do they either take damage.
exactly.
So it can split up the fight. So as soon as somebody gets hit, they want to back away from their teammates because or else at that stage everybody's getting hurt. So you completely isolate them with this corruption in the first feat.
Exactly. So don't be like this Kensei and walk into your friend.
That is literally me right there. That's the controlling that Kensei for the rest of my days.
Obviously, it works in Minion because they're your allies, right?
Yeah. Of course.
So,
oh my god.
Oh, wow.
They just pop. Oh my god. It's like popcorn. Holy crap.
So don't play like the raider. Just try to get away, roll away from the lane, roll away from your friends, and don't be dumb and get your whole team killed.
yeah.
That's insane. And so just to stay on this, is that this must really be shaping the fight in a very different way, in the sense that, like, you know, usually we have tools to kind of enhance the combat, but now you're allowing players to well, at least the players of the Warmongers, to literally evaporate kind of that ganking situation. Is that kind of the goal with this character?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, she's not as afraid of a 1v2. If you try to send 2 guys to kill her, she can put on this corruption blade. If she hits 1 person, suddenly she's going to stall you guys out. You guys have to back off. At least one of you has to back off. And then if she can get revenge after that, she's going to be one of the longest surviving characters in those gank situations.
So she's going to be great for like clutch situations in Dominion when you need to stay alive and you're waiting on that revive or whatever it is.
Exactly. This is going to be a super cool tool for that. You're going to see those 1v3s and 1v4s with this character. Those little hype videos that people do are going to happen. That's going to be cool. And at the same time, you're going to have to think twice. Should I fight this Warmonger in the lane? Should I 2v1 this Warmonger on a capture point? She has a lot of ability to control the pace of the fight and space, which is going to be really interesting.
Insane.
Okay, so what do we have here? I think we're in tier 2.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So our tier 2 and 3 aren't doing anything by themselves. What they do is that they give Warmonger a passive ability whenever she's fighting somebody that is corrupted. So in this case, feat 2 means that you're healing a portion of the damage that you're doing to a corrupted target. So as you see on the Warmonger life bar right now, she's healing off the damage that corruption is doing.
Wow. Okay.
So she's going to be low here.
Yeah, so here, as you can see, the Kensei is corrupted, but they don't have any friends around them, right? So normally they would be safe. But in this case, because Warmonger has her feat 2, as you can see on her life bar, she's healing a portion of the damage that she's doing, which gives her an advantage in the 1v1 if she's fighting a corrupted target.
Right, so it's a corrupted target. That's the condition. Basically.
Yes.
So just to come back on the corruption, like to make people corrupted, this is you activate the feat, and then from there you get one chance to land a hit within the, I'm assuming, the time frame that's allocated for that first feat. Is that it?
So to be super clear there, it's you get one application of it, and you have to play it within the time, which is like 15 seconds or something.
Okay.
So if you hit one person, it's consumed and it's on them.
Exactly.
You can't hit two different people.
But you do have 15 seconds to do that. It's not just one code, and if it gets blocked, then after that, like, you know, you're basically screwed as the Warmonger. You didn't get your chance.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's right.
Understood.
Blocking doesn't apply it, but you could get block, and then a hit, and then you're in.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So that's feat 3. So what it does is that it makes the Warmonger do more damage to a corrupted target. So as you can see from the life bar on both Kensei, the one on the right has feat 3 active, which means that her heavy is doing more damage. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. It also means that your corruption damage is going to be higher. So if you compare both left and right having access to the feat, you see that it's doing slightly more damage and will kill the target.
I see. Jesus.
All right, feat 4. This one's spicy. So that's Corruption Blast. So feat 1 is made to corrupt one target. This one is made for a bigger thing, let's say.
So here you can see it's like an AoE basically. It blasts everyone in the AoE. Here we're only hitting the first target, the only Tiandi right in front of us, not the one on the left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that basically just does the same thing as if you were to hit them with your feat 1 in this scenario. But what we're aiming at is hitting multiple person with it.
Oh,
because as you can see, the corruption AoEs overlaps, so it deals double damage. So the more people you catch, the more they stay around, the more damage they're gonna take.
So just
Cheers is getting excited.
Tiandis have it, right? So
then they
both Tiandis are
overlap
like-
in the AoEs.
Yes,
and
you're
you're saying
in
that the
mine.
damage over, and they can triple now. You're telling me it's triple? Are you kidding me? Wow.
Exactly.
Okay.
So my corruption hurts you and me, and your corruption hurts you and me. So
Oh my god.
Don't
And that
stack
could go up to 4 people.
Of course.
Of course. Let's take a look. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and so in this scenario, like, you should not stay around your friends, because if she has her feat 2 as well, she's gonna basically heal off everything that you guys are doing to her. So just accept that you're corrupted and send one person to fight her.
as you see there, like Warmonger's actually getting hit once in a while, but she ends up nearly at full health at the end of it. Everybody's dead except for one Tiandi who I want to say got lucky. That didn't seem strategic to me.
Oh, you see him? He's running away.
Yeah, and then he runs back strangely. So they're smart. Stay away, and then come back too early. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
That's it.
crazy.
Space it. Don't force stack against a Warmonger, because
Yeah, I can see that. It's not an advantageous position to be put in. So, okay, so basically the anti-ganker of For Honor has been introduced to the game with the Warmonger. I'm kind of curious, is that, you know, now that we've taken a look at the full kit, we've got all of the feats. For you guys, how does this kind of shape maybe certain compositions of the teams that we'll see? You know, like how does she change how people will play in these group fights?
You want to start?
oh sure, yeah. I mean, for me, Alex and I, when we're playing in our play sessions, like we've got a nice little team that we have, eh? Wait, which way is Alex? You tell him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's what we like to do is I would be playing Warmonger and Steph would be playing the Nusha. So we start off by rotating the point and the lane, whereas Corruption Blade will control the first waves. Then Steph can come in, put on some caltrops, minions walks in it and all die. Then we finally get to our feat 4. And obviously, since it's similar to Nusha, it means that Nusha's feat 4 is Corruption, so it works well with my feat 2 and 3. And because it bumps the target, it allows me to do a free hit, basically, which is going to be enhanced by my feat 3. So we're just isolating people left and right with Corruption and controlling the lane. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
at least for us.
Yeah, for you guys.
Okay. Well, the other one I want to say that I've seen people do is 4 people are sitting in a lane at the end. They don't want to leave because it's breaking, and they're just trying to hole up there. Yeah, watch a Warmonger walk in and pop the tier 4, and yeah, exactly. That's right.
Melting pot.
Okay, so then that's going to lead into my second question, because as an opponent of the Warmonger, let's say, how do you think is the best way to kind of deal with this new hero, and especially the abilities that she has within anti-ganking? Is there a certain approach that you guys have found, or it's going to be up for the players to figure it out?
I mean, usually the way I try to look at it is like, you want to engage her in terms that are favorable or at least even for you. Don't send gank squads. Send one, and then ideally the second one rolls up once the fight is at some point engaged. It's dangerous for her to try to apply Corruption Blade in a fight with one person, and if she's halfway dead, then that's when suddenly you have a really good possibility to gank her. And at the end of the game, when you're scared of her tier 4, you've got scary tier 4s as well, so use yours to control those fights yourself. So
isolation is key against this hero, basically.
Exactly. Don't all 4 go and try to rock on her with swords, because yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, and last one. This one might be a little bit complex, but I'm going to show you some For Honor knowledge here. Given the fact that we have the core combat update that's coming out at the same time as the hero, how does that kind of shape the way that you would play her in comparison? Obviously we spoke about this in detail last week with JC. I'm just curious how this kind of adapted the way that you guys see kind of players going to be able to use the kit maybe more fully, the difference between what people are seeing right now in Tyrant's Test. Can you give us anything on that?
Quickly, I mean, like the differences you see between Tyrant's Test and the actual launch of the Warmonger, there's going to be some damage values that are going to change and stuff like that. So if you have those exact values, they're going to be a little bit adjusted. The character doesn't drastically change between the two, though. Once you understand it, that's going to be there. At the same time, Alex, maybe you want to speak to how much is Warmonger cognizant of the current and expected coming meta?
I'm not sure if that's the case, Stefan.
Well, maybe he doesn't want to speak about it. No, but I mean, like, would you take Warmonger in a post-core combat update world, right?
Yeah. I would have played her before, because we weren't sure when the combat update would come whenever we were developing her. So we wanted to make sure that she was still viable in the previous meta and be able to be more offensive. So that's why her kit is kind of made the way it is, basically. But for sure, post-combat update, nothing goes away, right? Yeah. She still has her enhanced slide, she still has her bash mix-up, she still has great trajectories, she still has her feats to go around ganks and stuff. So I think she's looking up to be pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Like that.
I expect to see her on the battlefield once in a while.
Yeah, I am expecting that, and I'm also expecting to die quite a few times in the coming weeks.
The first week when there's gonna be tons of Warmonger, everybody's gonna be corrupted all the time.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Honestly, it's been great to kind of dive deep into the Warmonger kit. Obviously, there's a lot of discovering that the players are going to do themselves. But I want to thank you guys for your time, and again, a huge shout out to Max, who, if you're watching this, of course you are, for all the videos that you guys that you made for this segment. 35 videos, you're the champ. But guys, that being said, we're going to get into the actual For Honor fashion aspect of things for the Warmonger right after this with Andrew. Again, Stefan, Alex, a big thank you. And we'll be right back with Andrew to talk about the Warmonger fashion.
Thanks, everybody. Have fun.
We finally got him to join. The technical difficulties are over. Mr. Andrew Im, Associate Art Director, here with us on today's show to talk about the Warmonger and the fashion. How are you today, sir?
I'm rotating.
Yeah, I can see that. It's pretty dramatic.
My chair is just to keep rotating.
I like it, though. You get to look at us both from side to side, so it's fantastic. Okay, so the Warmongers, of course, we spoke about the narrative. We spoke about the fight demo. We've gotten, obviously, the base set of Astria kind of down pat and what she looks like, and we're going to extend that further. But before we get into all of the fashion, what makes the customization of this character a bit different maybe this time around, since it's the first one that we're introducing since year 3?
So something that we wanted to achieve differently from the previous years, there were 3 points that we wanted to make sure during the creation of Warmongers. First one is something that is kind of that we used to do, like the representation. These Warmongers are representation of the army or the group as a Warmonger, not only the Astria's variations. So it's kind of a continuous approach as year 3 characters, and we wanted to show each variation has some sort of a rank system, so you can kind of see some visual upgrades throughout the variation progressively. And also there's even a visual that is that looks similar to the minions, and you guys will find out when it comes down, and also to the point where it gets legendary armors. So
nice.
This is something that we'll find out later.
Sweet.
Second point is we wanted to make a bit more traditional. Like there are a lot of voices in the Reddit that they wanted to see more traditional structure of the armor. So there is still some constraints. So there's a limit that we can make it to look quite traditional. But then that was we pushed as far as we could, and also a bit more fantastic.
So there's a spectrum, like on both sides, a little bit more traditional on one, and then after that you have the more fantastic on the other side.
Exactly. It's like For Honor character has had this boundary in designs, but like we were kind of trying to expand the boundary little by little. So
I see.
You might be able to see it in these variations. Lastly, but also very importantly, we wanted to give more options to the players. I hope that this is a personal response to many like amazing posts that we receive in the Reddits and the Twitters. Like we years of learning like kind of made our customization evolve. Like and we started with just the simple studs, adding the studs to start as a year 1. Year 3, like moving the ornament placement to the shoulder, kind of made us allow to have more freedom on the helmet design and the face mask, which is year 3 characters. But this also kind of came with the constraint that okay, we cannot put the ornament on the head. So this time we tried to solve the problem by adding extra layer on it, which we will introduce in a bit.
Nice.
Yep.
So we jump right into the armor sets now?
Yeah, sure.
Let's take a look. So this is the default set of Astria. This is the one that, you know, players will be accustomed to from the get-go, and represents the leader, right? For the Orcos.
Yeah. So there are quite a lot of golden trims and ornamentations, and then the helmet design is very much influenced by the Apollons. You can see it, but it still has its own uniqueness. The main focus on this one is to give two complementary designs. Like it looks glorious, but at the same time it looks kind of corrupted, and it's attractive, also deadly, and also beautiful, but kind of dark. But I'm saying that there's two options, meaning is you can kind of see there's a small difference from the left to right. You see there's the hair's ornamentation on the head, and the other version has the one without it. There's a one version that there's a cape on it, and some player kind of wanted to see a character without the cape. And there's a light ornamentation on the shoulder that's also removed for one other option, so people can have different choices when they are actually choosing the variations.
So it's the same thing here. Now we're seeing two different variations of this same set, where again there's maybe some subtle differences, but I'm already noticing on the kind of the neck and around the neck area, there's obviously difference in details over here. The horns, or the antlers, I should say, on the right side, which are absolutely insane. But that's great, and that involves the choices for the players, correct?
Yep. And for the structure-wise, it's a bit more a traditional way of dressing or wearing the armors. And slowly, it's kind of going more towards the fantastic part of the visuals.
I see. This is really awesome.
And of course, there are two different type of. It's a very subtle on the changes, except the cape and the without the cape. But then at least we wanted to give more options to the player. That was the main goal of creating these two different variations.
This one's really, really interesting.
Yeah,
A different pattern, and it almost looks like, you know, like friendly. But let's not forget that this is the Warmonger, so far from that.
Just the full ride on the decoration. Like the task was like, what if we give every place as much decoration as much as possible, and that's how it came out.
Now we're getting to something really, really edgy here. Really, really sick.
Yep. This one we're pushing a bit more fantasy. I don't know how it's kind of visible. That's always a question to a lot of players. It was kind of inspired by the movie Dracula, and there was nice, interesting lines on the muscle, and that was the reference on it.
Nice. So now we're coming back to the same Astria,
yeah.
And from there moving into this one right here.
As for the helmet, this is one of my favorite too. It's inspired by the jousting knight. Technically, it was not possible for us to create it, but then there was a modification that we made it so it looks as much close as the realistic, not realistic, but then inspired by the jousting knight helmets.
Nice. This one is absolutely insane.
This would be the final stage of the corruption, I would say. Even the helmet design is more fantastic, and it's almost unreal.
Yeah.
But this kind of design, really they existed in real life armor in medieval times. So it's not something just out of our context. Like on these sets, something that we wanted to bring was it's the level of I would say level of the corruptions.
I
So
see.
slowly you kind of see there is the leathers and the fabric and the metal treatment. The corruption created there's some sort of worn out effects or the deformations, and the metals gets quite unique patterns. So you can kind of see it in the later variations, and the last variation that you saw it was the pick point of it.
Yes, and that's not all though. Now we're getting into the last and most legendary one. That's right. we've got the Apollyon set that's available for everyone. What can you tell us about this, and specifically how it relates to the Warmongers now?
Yes, well, we cannot say Warmongers without saying Apollyon. So this is something that we had to give it to the players.
Incredible.
We wanted to give as the mint condition. Well, like it's not the new as a new. It's still kind of worn out and old, but as original as possible. So there is a lot of like the rust and also it's something that's extra that it's applied here is. You can see, you will be able to see the one without the cape version of it as well. So that's quite interesting experience. And also there's a nice shoulder pad, the big one. There's the asymmetric version, and then now it's kind of as a variation, you can have 2 big shoulder pads.
Nice.
On both sides.
So the legacy of Apollyon still lives on through that armor set, and then there's variations over above on that set. So let's take a look here. This is so sick. Shiny Apollyon set here, unreal.
Well, since we wanted to give that armor as it is from the previous one, the alternate material spot were limited for original ones. So for the variation, we opened up more possibility for players to apply more alternative materials.
Unreal. I really like this one. And again, it still keeps to the core of what Apollyon stands for, and it's different than the Warmonger set. You can really distinguish both, and that's really cool.
Exactly, and with the interesting ornaments on top of it. So
yeah. Unreal. So are you a cape guy? You a cape guy? I'm a cape guy. I'd love the cape.
Then
I'd
take
keep
the cape.
Yeah, I would take the cape.
If you're not the cape guy,
you don't need to anymore.
Choose the one without it.
Clarissa, you a cape girl?
You know, it's hard to say because I watched a movie where it shows you how capes can hinder your hero activity.
The Incredibles.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. Of course. That's so true.
Oh, the details on this armor, though.
Yeah, insane.
Yeah, well, as a design-wise, the Astria kind of added extra effort to make these armors to look more decorative. So this is another one that has a more ornamentation, more engravings. And
so clean.
Yep.
I love it.
Unreal.
I hope we get to see more cosplays because I know that we had a few really good Apollyon cosplays, but now with Astria being in game,
the variations now, it's gonna be insane.
I really hope.
I wonder which one will be chosen.
Yeah.
Yes. And more variation will come in on next seasons.
Nice.
After so.
There you have it. This guy's a pro teaser. That's awesome. Okay, well, that's a full look at all of the sets right now of the Warmonger. Again, we have the duality of the Astria being represented, but also Apollyon and her legacy living on through those variations. So that's super interesting. How about we go into the weapons of this character that will be complementing this as we speak? Excuse me. I'm sorry.
You have to put this. You have to put this at the end. Yep. Now Warmonger's greatsword, Flamberge. In German, there was a specific word. Do you know?
I could do a quick Google research if you would like me to.
I think it's called the Zweihand.
Oh, Zweihand. I can't pronounce it, but I know what you're talking about.
Hang on, let me get this for you guys as you guys take a look. Hang on.
I think that they both have a similar. Yeah, go ahead.
Flammenschwert?
What?
No, it's like Zweihandler.
Zweihandler.
Zwei.
Well, what? Google has failed me? Is that what you're telling me right now? Okay, all right.
Well, getting back to the Warmonger's Blade, so this one's Warmonger's Blade introduces a bit slow transition of color, not the color, culture evolutions. And also, like the culture will mix by using very traditional knight hilt and the blade part that is strongly influenced by Eastern culture. I mean, the Flamberge also has this wavy blade, but then there was a very interesting one that I found it from. I think its name is a Kreese. It's a dagger, but then the wave is even more extreme, and it kind of looks like a snake.
And this one here with the black swan at the top, right? One of the symbols that you weren't able to describe at the top of the show, but that we talked about with Elise. But
Yeah, exactly.
Unreal.
Yeah. So as you can see it, like one of the unique intention for all this weapon set is it's to attract others, because as you can see, there's a lot of ornamentation, a lot of nice stuff happening, but also it's of course to kill when the persuasion didn't work.
Doesn't work. So you're saying that this is like a way for the warmongers to draw people to their cause in terms of the Order of Horkos and what they believe in by kind of showing off their wealth and their style and all of that stuff.
Exactly, to get the attention of it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's as you saw it, like pretty much most of them, but then the Black Swan represent there's a sleek and elegant type of visual. At the same time, it contains this dark, mysterious, and deadly feeling. The weapon itself has two purposes, like persuasion and kill.
And killing, yeah. I feel like killing is at the basis of every weapon, but this one's absolutely phenomenal. I'm personally a big fan of this type of stuff that's like, very unique in terms of the design.
Yeah.
Different colors that make it seem so shiny and pretty.
I really like this one. Because they look like thorns with the vines.
Unreal.
Yeah. JK, this one's my favorite. Oh wait, this one's my favorite.
As you can see, there will be a lot of it's kind of there's ambiguity between good and evil with these weapons, and people can easily get tricked by the visual, and you don't really kind of read what's behind it. There are a lot of figurative elements in these weapons. Like Black Swan was one of them. Snake, which meant as the wisdom and the evil. There is some roses. Rose meant as a beauty and the trap. There's a thorn at the bottom. So it was a pretty fun one. And again, the Shangdu team did an amazing job.
Yeah, kudos to them. Really, really beautiful. And this is a look at the full collection for the Warmongers. Again, just so many different options for everyone. And, we mentioned this at the top of the show, and this is what we'll take a look at right after this, is actually there's an event pass that's going to be going for the corruption that's coming in with the Warmongers, basically. So we'll take a look at that right after this, and we've got a video for it. So what can you tell us about these weapons?
So basically, these weapons are the one that got corrupted. So the things that we wanted to do is from the previous season, not the previous season, but the previous ones that we had it for alchemies. There were kind of red gems in each weapons, which you don't remember, okay? But there were the red gems on each weapons, which is the Dragon Knight. We couldn't say at the time, but then now I can kind of say it. That's the source that where it gets corrupted, and the visually we changed that gem into greenish colors, and that's where all the corruption spreads. So material-wise, Draconite as a dark green gem, and the metals gets rusted, the paints and the leathers gets worn out, and for the color-wise, we use a lot of desaturated colors. Overall, like there are cold black, toxic greens, and the rusted orange or blood red, which doesn't makes people comfortable.
Yeah, no, it's definitely off-putting, and again, like with the narrative, again with the corruption that's coming with the Warmongers, I feel like you've fully represented what this means if you were to use that corruption on the weapon, and just right from the get-go, it stands exactly for that representation. It's unreal.
Oh man, those holes make me feel uncomfortable.
There's many aspects, it's a collective unconscious that makes people uncomfortable. We should have put the viewers' discretion before we actually do this one, because people might not be happy to see this one. But
man, it's menacing though. Like you like, even again, every time you have a big surface to play with, we saw it with the Viking. Now we're looking at the Hitakiri's weapon here, which is always a beautiful canvas for you guys to do it. And again, you guys can really explore the range of this theme fully, and that's exactly what you guys have done
by using the treatment of rust, worn out, wrinkles, the textures that naturally spreads. Like rust is one of them, but also it's when there's a marble, there's a kind of texture that spreads, or the root of the tree and the rose vine, that those were the great reference for us to inspire and to visually explain the corruptions.
Unreal. Now taking a look at Conqueror's Shield, absolutely sick with the vines and everything. Just the corruption is so ever so present.
It's a bit more fantastic than what we used to produce.
Snake.
No
rope. Yeah, no rope.
And this is another weapon for Warmonger.
Nice.
I think this, you guys saw it in the event.
Black Briar.
We left a little hint here and there.
Unreal. The Valkyrie.
Glenn?
Gladiator.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay. You got hit with the mix-up.
Yeah,
because it's coming.
All this corruption is corrupting my vision here.
And we're finishing with Peacekeeper.
And now the last faction, the Wu Lin. Starting off with the Tiandi. Oh.
Oh man, those holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My trypophobia. I think that's what you call it.
Yeah, trypophobia. Yeah.
At least also has it.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
Yep.
I get like. Oh.
There they are. Oh. Clarissa's not even looking at the camera. Man.
I saw it. I was like, oh, that's great. No, but it's really good because like I mean, it's very subtle. It's not like you're trying to impose that, but it goes along with the theme of discomfort because it's corruption and icky and it's like so
But it represents this like historic moment in the For Honor kind of chapter here with the what's going on like live. This is the collection, and this is a perfect way to kind of end this segment in the sense that, you know, this is the collection, part of the event pass. There's no game mode that's related to this event pass. It's just to celebrate the launch of the hero starting August 6th, and this is when the event pass will be available. So as you guys play and progress, you'll have basically access to all of these things as you would from the battle pass track. So that's for 3 weeks. So you want to play as much as you can to get as far as you can in this event track. But I think that about does it for the video. Andrew, I want to thank you so much for taking the time and being with us today. We're really excited to see how the people are going to receive all of these cool For Honor fashion aspects, especially with the Warmonger. Anything that you have to say before August 6th for yourself and the Warmongers?
Well, thank you for waiting, everyone, and I hope you guys really enjoy what we have done.
Thank you so much for your team and all the hard work that you guys have put in. Really awesome stuff. So thank you again, Andrew. Chat, say thank you to Andrew. And that about does it, guys. That's it for today's show. Hope you guys had a great time as much as we did to deep dive into the Warmonger Hero. Available again August 6th. And that's when me and Clarissa will be back on live stream to play some live games with the Warmonger and preview some really bad gameplay by my part. So it's going to be fantastic. Did you have a good time today, Clarissa?
Of course. I mean, Apollyon has always been one of my favorite villains, just like in the whole gaming space. And so now that we have Astria, who also has very, very similar characteristics and, basically is the next Apollyon, it's a very exciting time, especially if you have been a For Honor fan since day one. So how about you, though?
I'm really excited to get my ass kicked in what's probably going to be some like lobbies just filled with Warmongers. So I can't wait for that. And we'll be back next week to do so, as I mentioned, with some live gameplay for a Let's Play segment to basically celebrate the launch of the Warmonger. So don't miss that, guys. Again, thanks for sticking with us. This was pre-recorded, so next week will be live. And once again, guys, we are war. They are here. The Warmongers are upon us. And we'll see you next week. Take care, guys. All the best.